Welcome to Nick on Knicks, where your boy N.I.C rants about the most recent Knicks game, and that was a 118-115 victory over the Philadelphia 76ers, winning the Eastern Conference first round series 4-2. The Knicks close it out in game 6, and just like this entire season, just like this entire series, the game was an absolute roller coaster. Wow, what a win. Knicks moved to the second round for the second season in a row without their second best and all-star / all-NBA player, Julius Randle. They are able to take out the Sixers, a team that a lot of people predicted the Knicks would lose to, a team that a lot of people said the Knicks should try to avoid, a team that tried their dirty tactics throughout the entire series, a team that snatched a win from us in game 5 at the Garden in very dramatic fashion. A team that a lot of people said they thought they could win 3 straight. I know Barkley and Shaq said they were going to blow us out tonight. The owner went out and bought 2,500 tickets and gave it out to random people in Philly. I think he did give it out to some first responders. That part's cool. The owner buying tickets from himself, that's embarrassing. And the way that we closed out game 5 was embarrassing as well. But the Knicks tonight got it done. 118-115. And like I said, the game was, palms sweaty. This shirt needs to be washed immediately. I sweat in the shirt a ton tonight. It was one of those type of nights, man. We start off the game just absolutely red hot. Dante DiVincenzo hits 3 early threes. He had hit 3 threes in the last 3 games prior to that. Was 3 for his last, I want to say 17. And he comes out red hot. Dante's Inferno, big ragu, raining him down from 2-3 feet behind the line. Brunson's finding him. Brunson is getting wherever he wants. We're moving the ball. Everything looks great. At one point, we were up by 22 in the first quarter. And, this Knicks team, they've won more games wire to wire than any other team in the NBA, with the Boston Celtics being second. And, we're off to this fantastic start. One of the things I was super worried about that I talked about in the last post game was the fact that we can't continue to just give away first quarters. And it seems like obviously they had a focus on that and they played great. They were playing fantastic. But you know what? There was a part of me always that said, not the way this series has gone. This team is always, making me sweat it out. And somehow, some way, this game's going to find a way to end up being tied again. Not only do they tie it back up, but the Sixers go into halftime with a lead. They are up by 3 points. And that, even I would say it, that seemed very improbable when we were up 22. But they get it down to 14 by the end of the first quarter. They come storming back in the second quarter. And as I said, they go ahead and take the lead. Buddy Hield, he thinks he's at Oklahoma again all of a sudden. He's all around the perimeter, no matter where he's at, and he's getting off shots. We let him get going because at the beginning, we let him get a couple wide open ones. And it was Embiid getting doubled and kicking out and then making one more pass was maybe like a guy like Lowry. And now Buddy Hield is wide open. And then they started to look for him. Buddy Hield got benched early on this season and looked like he wasn't ever going to play for Philly again. And tonight he ended up with 20 points. I want to say he had 18 just in the second quarter alone. He might have had a couple in the first, but I know he had 18 at half, and he was just filling it up. That's the type of guy who before the series started, I was like, we can't let a guy like Buddy Hield get hot. And Buddy Hield has had a tough time of it since he's come over from Philadelphia, and then wasn't even playable according to Nick Nurse for much of this series, but really injected life into that team. We were doubling Embiid too much at that point and letting everybody else get going. Another great adjustment by Thibodeau. We went away from that in the second half. There was times where he was just straight up dog walking Hart down into the paint and just laying him up easily. But that's better than letting all these other guys get off, and especially guys like Buddy Hield who can fill it up from outside. Campaign, you got to make sure that you're not leaving them wide open because you're playing so much attention to Embiid. And the Knicks were able to make that adjustment in the second half, and we saw the game come back our way. So we're down by 3. We come out in the third, and at one point we get down by 10, and it's not looking good. Once again, we're not moving the ball. Brunson with a little bit of hero ball. Guys being indecisive. Guys not taking open shots when they have them. Shots that we had been hitting just missing. And now we get down by 10 points in the third. It looks bad. We're hovering around that 7-8. And then to close the quarter, we make another run. That run finishes with an offensive rebound by Josh Hart on a DiVincenzo miss. He grabs the ball, tiptoes on the baseline, swings it to OG in the corner. OG hits the 3, and it's 83-83 going into the fourth quarter. So we got 12 minutes to be able to close this out and be able to get to the next round and send the Sixers to Cancun. In that third quarter, there were a few things. The one time that I really lost confidence was when OG missed the dunk. When OG is out in front, there was a turnover, it gets kicked ahead to him. He flies in and he misses the dunk. And there was a part I had a pit in my stomach that was just like, damn, man, is it going to be one of those type of nights? Like, come on, man. But as we continue to do, we continue to fight. We continue to keep ourselves in games with effort and execution, no matter what the score is, no matter what happened last game. A lot of teams would be shook coming into this game, but I loved all of the responses that we had in the post game after that just horrible down the stretch throwing away of the game that we had in game 5. Everybody came out and was accountable. Mitch said, I fucked up. Brunson talked about the things that he didn't do well and how he didn't have good offensive possessions in overtime. Tibbs said that, we might have made a mistake when it came to how we executed the giving the foul when up by 3 at the ends of games. But, we learned from it. We're going to get better from it. Everybody was echoing that same type of mindset of, hey, we made some mistakes, but we're going to get better because of this. And that's what we've done all season. We've been very good at closing out games that are close with winning plays. We had a blip at the worst time possible when we gave away game 5, but we did not hang our heads. We got back to work. We looked at what we did, and you saw Tibbs at the end of today's game. He played that whole, hey, we're up by 3, do we foul thing perfectly. So I love the fact that, we took accountability, we learned from our mistakes, and we came out tonight and we just continue to fight. We get into that fourth quarter, and some of the shot making by Jalen Brunson in that fourth quarter was just out of this world. The back-to-back threes that he hits to put us up by 6, that was later on. But even before that, the play where we're down in the shot clock and Brunson, dribbles, picks up his dribble, has nowhere to go. He's got Batum. I want to say Embiid was right. Embiid was definitely right there. And I want to say the third guy was Kelly Oubre. It might have been Tobias No-Show Harris. But yeah, he somehow just like leans to the right, and he's a lefty, mind you. Leans to the right and gets the shot off, and bang. It reminded me of that shot where he hit the fadeaway against Embiid earlier. I want to say that was in like game 4, where it bounced around on the rim and bounced up, hit the glass, and came in. I mean, some of the shot making by this guy is just unbelievable. He's getting and ones. He's getting guys behind him, and he's stopping and going straight up. Not like some people on Twitter were saying, some of these Philly fools who were talking about how he's jumping back into it. No, I've watched the replay. He went straight up. You're riding his back. Get off my man. Stop. Stop being right on top of him like that. Pause. And go ahead and hear that whistle and catch this free throw too. Brunson, that's the one thing he didn't do great tonight. He was 12 of 16 from the line, but when he has to hit two to essentially ice the game, or at least put us in a position where, we shouldn't be able to lose, the best they should be able to do is tie. What does he do? He knocks him down. DiVincenzo with 2 huge free throws late. And we now, after, coming into the quarter with it all tied up, we build up the lead with like 3 and change left, and we're up by 8. And it's like, yo, let's go. We're right here. We got this. We're up by 8. But of course, in the true spirit of this series, no lead is safe. And all of a sudden, now we are tied all up at 111. After a Tyrese Maxey take to the rim where there's a foul call and a goaltend. I don't think either call was right. Okay. I don't see where the foul is. Isaiah Hartenstein goes straight up. DiVincenzo comes from behind, minimal body contact, and somehow he gets the foul call there. And then the goaltend, no one has shown an angle, and no one can say definitively that Isaiah Hartenstein didn't get to that ball before it got to the backboard. It was unbelievable that was, they just get gifted 3 points right there. And now it's a tie game. At one point when we were up, they even came back and they were up by 1, I want to say. They were up by 1. I think they were up 93-92 earlier on in the fourth quarter. And then we went up by like the 8, and then they kept whittling away and they got it down to the point that it was tied. Now the game is tied. And with right around 24 seconds left, after being blitzed, Jalen Brunson throws the ball over to Josh Hart. Josh Hart looks as if he's going to make the one more rotation pass to Donte DiVincenzo. The defender does not rotate to Josh Hart. He stays with DiVincenzo over in the corner. And Josh Hart realizes from the right elbow behind the 3-point line that I got to step up and I got to hit this shot. And Josh Hart takes one dribble and goes up and knocks down the biggest shot of the season for the New York Knicks thus far, maybe the biggest shot of his life, confidently puts in the 3. And that right there was the shot of the game. It was the turning point of the game. It gave the Knicks the ability to play at with the mindset of, if we don't make mistakes, we win the game, because that was huge right there to go up 3 instead of 2. Because now, as long as we don't foul a 3-point shooter, as long as we hit our free throws, and we definitely know about those 2 things, because those are the 2 things that we couldn't do in game 5 that cost us a loss in Madison Square Garden. So now we just got to do those things. And Tibbs trusted his guys. He fouled Maxey when Maxey was in the backcourt. And then I thought it was interesting. There was another time where we didn't foul Maxey, but Maxey was catching it in the half court. I think he didn't want Maxey to be able to get a full head of steam with 10 seconds to go. And now he's either going all the way to the rim, possibly getting an and one, or if you're trying to stay in front of him, he can pull up from the logo. There's no way that you can guard both of those things. So we were very strategic of when we did foul and when we didn't foul at the end. And I thought that also contributed to the rushed 3 that Buddy Hield put up, where he catches the ball with 3 seconds. We're up by 3 points, and he takes a dribble and turns around and deuces right there. And he just immediately goes up and puts up a heave that like hits the glass, and the game is over. I thought that he was trying to get it off really quickly because he thought there was a chance that we were going to foul. So I think mixing it up there and, having a mindset behind it and not just being locked into a particular theory is the way to go. And we didn't necessarily handle it well last game, but we learned from it. We handled it well tonight. Another thing from the Sixers, Nick Nurse, how does Maxey not get that last 3? How does that ball not touch Maxey's hands? Embiid is fouled out at that point. Embiid hit some crazy 3s tonight too. Embiid overall obviously had a great game as far as his stats. What did he have? He had 33, I want to say. 39 points, 13 rebounds. He had the 1 block, 2 assists. He did have 5 turnovers. There's a couple points in the fourth quarter where he was just hitting like impossible, like pull-up 3s. I mean, he's so skilled for his size, but there's no love lost for Embiid, and bitch, as I like to call him. He continues to do dirty shit. He pushed OG in while he's in midair and then wants to act like he didn't foul him, which is just crazy. And this team, seriously, the Philly, like they're so delusional. How was Embiid trying to say that that wasn't a foul when he smacked Ihart in the face? Yes, the ball hit Ihart in the face. And then right after that, you hit him in the face. And I don't understand. They should have challenged that. It was a stupid challenge. And then afterwards, they were trying to argue and be like, did you guys see the replay? He hit the man in the face. He hit Isaiah Hartenstein in the face. That's a foul. Always. No matter what, no matter where you are, that's always a foul. Okay? So it's crazy. And then Nick Nurse, after the game, was blaming the refs and saying, like, I don't understand how Maxey, gets into the paint so much and, goes to the ground so much, but he never gets a call. First of all, Maxey is flinging himself to the ground half the time. And the Knicks do a fantastic job of contesting while maintaining verticality. And therefore, especially with the way that these games have been being called in the playoffs and really since, the All-Star break, that's just not a foul. You're not going to get that call. Sorry, Nick Nurse. Nick Nurse, man, he's a fraud. People want to talk about how this guy's such a good coach. He got to win a championship because he was riding on the coattails of Pete Kawhi. And he, since then, I don't think has ever made it out of the first round. And once again, he's sent home packing. I don't want to hear anything about Embiid and his injury. We are missing Julius Randle. As Josh Hart said before the game, that is 24, 9, and 4 that we are missing. Okay, so I don't want to hear your excuses about the fact that Embiid wasn't 100%. The guy had 50 points in one of the games. Okay, he averaged well over 30 for the series. He had 39 and 14. Embiid was good enough to go, and we were just the better team. Josh Hart, he was talking about before the game. He said that, about how Julius has remained very in touch with everybody. And, I love the fact that we saw Julius on the bench today. Side note, he did re-sign with CAA, which we know is formerly Leon Rose's agency, and now his son runs it. So he did re-sign with CAA. I think that's important when it comes to Julius possibly getting extended and coming back. And staying a Knick for, the foreseeable future and hopefully for the rest of his career. I'm the president of the Julius Randle fan club. I, think he is the genesis of all this. He's the thing that started it, getting us turned around. And, I'm just happy that he's with the team and staying engaged. And, Josh Hart was asked before the game, he talked about Randle's involvement, and his direct quote was, he was 24, 9, and 5. So that playmaking, that shot making, it's funny when people talk about us, they somehow have to forget the big void that we have. Yeah, we're missing our 1B. Okay. We can go ahead and say Brunson's the 1A. I think that's safe to say. He's the leader of the team. But Julius is our 1B, and I think they complement each other so well. And it'll be really interesting. What could this team have been if we had Julius? Is this 60-win team if we have Julius? 55, 57, something like that? It gets you really. It's hard to be a Knicks fan and not worry about. And I'm sorry, not wonder about that. But let's not worry about that right now because it is what it is. We have what we have, and as Tibbs likes to say, we have enough to win. We have enough to get the job done, and that's what we do. We get huge contributions all across the board. Dante DiVincenzo, that's what we needed. Ragu, cheers to you, Ragu. That's what we needed right there. We needed Dante DiVincenzo to be that flamethrower. We needed him to be that guy that was one of the best guards in the league for a stint after Julius went down with the injury. We need him being aggressive. And I saw in his post-game press conference that he was talking about the fact that guarding Maxey and being put on him early in the game, that really got him going and got him engaged. That's another adjustment. We had been going with Josh Hart to guard Maxey, and we switched to DiVincenzo. DiVincenzo, a little bit quicker. He's not as strong, not as big, but he's a little bit quicker. He's got really active hands. He makes it hard for you to dribble in his space because he will pick your pocket. He and Josh Hart are both very good defenders. They're different types of defenders. And I thought that he did a very good job of denying Maxey the ball and really bothering him early. And Maxey was never really able to get it going. 17 points for Maxey, that is a win all day, every day. Okay? 17 points for Maxey is huge for us because when that guy is cooking and you got Embiid doing his thing, then you really need one other person to kind of get off. And that one other guy was Buddy Hield. He went off. Batum had some really good minutes in the fourth quarter there. They start giving us some of our own medicine where they're getting offensive rebounds. I'm looking at Kelly Oubre and Nicholas Batum get tap slams with guys standing around. That was the thing where I felt like, if we ended up not being able to pull this game out, that I would look back to and be like, yo, how do we let these guys beat us on the glass in the fourth like that? Because that's what we always do. We always rebound, but we did have 20 big offensive rebounds on our end. They had a total of 16. We won the rebound battle 48-46. So once again, we went on the glass, and I just thought that we got contributions from so many different guys. This was a total team win up and down the board. OG Anunoby being aggressive on offense, knocking down that, mid-range jump shot, knocking down a few timely threes as well, and going to the rack strong and hard. Talk about the dunk on Embiid in the fourth. My pops lives like a mile away from me, and I texted him afterwards. We're texting throughout the entire game. We only live a mile away from each other. We were together for the last game. Now, the Knicks lost, so I had to switch it up a little bit. Felt like we needed to switch it up. The game before that, we weren't together, and the Knicks had won. So these games we watch from home, and we text pretty much incessantly throughout the game. And I asked him, I said, did you hear me screaming? Because I know my neighbors to each side of me, the houses that are on either side of me, and probably the few people that are across the street, they all heard me when OG threw it down on Embiid and the foul. Can't say N1 because he did miss the free throw. But, I mean, wow, what a dunk. He doesn't settle for the three. He's got the one open three. You always take the open layup or dunk over the open three, in my opinion. It's one of the things that I love that the Knicks always do, or at least do a lot of the time, especially the Villanova boys on the break. They're trying to hunt and get layups. They're not just trying to fire it up from behind the arc. And OG goes down there and boom. And we need his presence. We need a guy who can score at the rim, who has some athletic, explosive ability. And once he got traded over to the Knicks, especially when we had that little movement where we still had Julius, I mean, you could just see how important and how well he fits this team. His defense continues to be amazing. I saw OG at one point in the first quarter. He swiped at the ball as a guy was going up. Who was it? I want to say it was Lowry, or it might have been Maxey. But he swipes at the ball as he's going up, misses, and then still blocked the guy's shot. So he swipes at the ball, the guy's going up, swipes at it, recovers, jumps up, and blocks the guy's shot at the apex. That's just, if you really know ball and if you watched a lot, that's not something that people do very often. It's the effort, the wherewithal, and the skill to be able to do that is insane. I mean, it just seems like he gets up to the apex to block shots at such so quickly, and his hands are just fantastic. He needs to stop dribbling in the paint. No more than one dribble in the paint. OG, when you get in the paint, you need one more dribble and go straight up or give it up. As soon as you start dribbling around in there, it's a turnover. It's waiting to happen. Stop doing that. But nonetheless, OG played fantastic. He really did have his fingerprints all over this game. Mitchell Robinson had really good, effective minutes. Those 17 minutes he came in, he played great defense against Embiid. He had 9 big rebounds, 6 of those on the offensive end. He had 2 steals, 1 block, +7 on the day. Only 2 points, couldn't get a tap to go in, but he still had a great impact. I love what I saw from him. Deuce with only 9 minutes today. I didn't think Deuce gave his best game. He, had 3 threes in the first half that he missed that were, could have really, really helped us. We needed a shot. But then there was a point, I think it was in the third quarter, maybe earlier in the fourth, but I want to say it was in the third, where we're having a shit offensive possession, after a bunch of other shit offensive possessions. We're turning the ball over. We're letting them not just get back in the game, but now they're ahead and they're distancing the lead. And Deuce hits a pull up off the dribble, like almost desperation, just because the offense was bogged down and it was getting low on the shot clock. He hits a pull up off the dribble in some traffic 3. And my son, who, he basically just parrots the all the shit I say, which is just me parroting all the shit I grew up listening to my dad say. And he says, man, we needed that one. And I was like, yes, sir. We needed that one. Yeah, absolutely amazing game, amazing series. What a series. I'm not one of these people who's like, oh, give Philly their respect. I respect Maxey. I respect Maxey. And you know, I respect Oubre. Oubre's got some dog in him. He plays hard. At one point where he stole the pass from Josh Hart to Brunson and ends up going down for a breakaway big tomahawk slam. At that was another point where I felt pretty low in the game. Just like, come on, guys, we can't be doing that dumb shit right now. This is not the time for the lax handling of the ball. And they were starting to be the aggressors there, really getting in passing lanes, really being handsy and being physical. And that's how they were able to come back and then, take the lead. But then the Knicks wore them down. This team has wilted in the fourth quarter, especially Embiid. We've seen it over and over again. And I have no respect for Joel Embiid. He is a crybaby. He's dirty. This guy, these guys, this is a fraternity here, man. Listen, we play ball and, obviously you want to be physical and there's different things that you want to do that, hey, if it ends up with another guy getting injured, then, hey, so be it. But you're not necessarily trying to. He was out there trying to hurt the Knicks. He was trying to hurt Mitchell Robinson. He was trying to hurt Jalen Brunson. He was doing straight up dirty Bush League shit. And Jalen Brunson's a bigger man than me. They embraced after the game, did the whole cover in the mouth and had, quite a bit to say to each other. I would have had no love for that cat. You're not getting no daps from me, none of that. And I just think that it's totally Bush League. There's a certain level when you play basketball in the park with somebody, there's certain things you don't do. You're not diving underneath guys' legs. You're not trying to do things that can possibly injure people. Because, all these people in real life, they got regular jobs. Well, this is your actual job playing basketball. And this is how you guys all feed your family. And you're resorting to this dirty shit because the Knicks are just bringing it to you. And they continue to bring it to you 4-2, send their ass home. Nick Nurse, go cry some more, little baby. He looked like a grown-up Dexter's Laboratory. I don't even think those glasses are real. I think his eyes are fine. I think it's all for show. I'm just saying, man. I get that off my chest, and now it's time to move on. Okay, my hatred for Philly and that city, especially as a Mets fan, and Embiid basically turning into the basketball version of Chase Utley during this run has made me really dislike that team. Embiid is a player that I have always had immense respect for his game and his skill level. And his skill level, God, that guy, he never misses a free throw. He never misses a free throw. He hits some shots, some threes that is just like, again, with this guy. he's freaking over 7 feet tall. He's almost 300 pounds. How is he so skilled? And he typically makes the right pass, though not in game 5. He had a ton of turnovers, 9 turnovers, and he was throwing fastballs all over the yard. But the way that they, those two specifically, Nick Nurse and Joel Embiid, the way they conducted themselves in this series, I have zero respect for them. And I think that they're both frauds. I think they're both front runners. And, they can have a ring and they can have some MVPs under their belt, but they'll never get to the promised land. Now, if we get to the promised land, and I did save this guy for last on purpose, it will be because of our fearless leader, Jalen Marquise Brunson. 41 points. 12 assists, 3 rebounds, and with all that usage, just 2 turnovers. Brunson was he's unbelievable. Absolute masterclass. He has been the best player in the entire playoffs thus far, leading all players in points and points per game. And especially when you consider how he started off the series with literally his 2 worst games of the entire season, some say of his life, and then he's able to turn that around. And in the last 4 games, he had 41-12-3, 40-10-4, 47-10-4, 39-13-2. Yo, man, what are we talking about? He's not a 1A? I'm going to keep calling y'all out. Becky Hammond. I'm going to keep calling y'all out. Candace Parker. All of these people. Stephen A. Smith. all these people who didn't think that Brunson was that guy, that even after witnessing what he did last season, averaging over 30 in the playoffs and being an all-star for the first time this year, some of these clowns in the media were still trying to say that this guy, he's not a 1A. He's too small. Where are y'all at? Go get I want come on, because I know I know I'm one of probably millions of Knicks fans who has tweeted at Candace Parker. I don't think Becky Hammond lets you tweet at her. I think she's got that turn off. She don't want the smoke. But I've tweeted at Candace Parker. Congratulations on your retirement. You should retire from commentating on basketball because you think that Brunson is not that guy. You said last year he wilted down the stretch, which he did not. He was the best player on our team in the playoffs and one of the best players in all of the playoffs, period. So you were just factually wrong on that. I don't know who you got behind you, who you got in your ear. Why didn't somebody tell you, man, you might want to clean that one up because that's not really correct. But yo, can somebody go find these people and ask them what they think of Brunson now? I want to know. I want to know what you think about guy Brunson now. Big body Brunson, as my guy Big Perk calls him. Shout to Big Perk. He's a general in the Knick Nation. And the Knicks find a way. Once again, the Knicks find a way, and they find themselves in the second round against our old rivals, the Indiana Pacers, who moved on as well after picking up a Game 6 win against Milwaukee today. The hospital version of the Milwaukee Bucks took them to 6. I think we get the Pacers out of here in 5. They out of here in 5. They not built like that, man. You know, they're not going to be able to just run around and get all loosey-goosey. The game's going to slow down, and we're going to make the plays when it counts. We've shown over and over again that we are a team that more often than not, we get it done in winning time when it counts, led by Jalen Brunson. He had some sort of stat combination that put him in a category with only Oscar Robinson during this series. He is the best Knick since Patrick Ewing. I don't even think that's that's not even a conversation. Sorry, Melo. I love you, brother. You my guy, but nah. Brunson is that guy, man. He is that dude. His game is such a pleasure to watch. Watching the whole relationship with him and his dad and just all of this, this Nova Knicks, this entire organization has a family feel from top to bottom. And it's been a joy to watch. I could not be more excited for Monday at 4:30 when we'll be in the Garden, a raucous Garden, against our old rivals, the Pacers. This is a rivalry renewed. We're going to see all these Halliburton people out here. We're about to watch Brunson just totally outplay him. Brunson was the best player in this series, not Embiid. I don't want to hear about Embiid's injuries. He was fine. He scored 50. Brunson was the best player in this series. And when it comes to Embiid's injuries, that's a part of who he is as a player and his identity. You have to expect that Joel Embiid is going to miss major time. And then when it gets to the playoffs, he's going to be beat up and either miss games or not be at 100%. That's what happens every single year. So stop acting like it's like, this year it's unfortunate. Like a guy like Julius has been an Iron Man. It's unfortunate that last year he got hurt towards the end of the season right before the playoffs and then wasn't quite himself. It's unfortunate that Jaime Jaquez low-bridged him this year and took him out. And he dislocated his shoulder, tore his labrum, whatever, and ended up needing season surgery after fighting all season to try to get back. That's unfortunate. What happened to Embiid this year is just what happens to Embiid. That's just what happens to this guy. It just is. He's never made it out of the second round. He's a great regular season player. MVP caliber. Before he went down this year, he was having an even better year than last year when he won the MVP. He was out of control. In the playoffs, he's going to be hurt. He's going to miss time, or he's going to be below 100%. And in fourth quarters, he is going to disappear. That's what he does. And the Knicks, They're going to play hard. They're going to keep coming. They're going to work the offensive glass. And Brunson is going to make clutch shots when it counts and lead his team to victory. That's what he does. What a win. What a team. What a season so far. And I will see you on Monday after game one. Hit that like button, hit subscribe, share this. After the Knicks games, come rock with your boy N.I.C. Wow, man. How about those Knicks? Peace.